What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this breaking news podcast where we're going to talk about the biggest news of Saturday, which was that the Giants made a huge signing as they signed Kenny Golladay, a former Lions receiver, to a 4-year, $72 million deal. $40 million of that is going to be guaranteed, and I believe it can go up to $76 million with incentives. Big move for the Giants. Helps to improve an offense that ranked 31st last year. Dave Gettleman and company have already added to Daniel Jones, quarterback Daniel Jones's offensive help. They signed Kyle Rudolph, tight end. Now signed John Ross, a depth receiver, and now the big fish that they were looking for from the start, Kenny Golladay. He wanted to be in New York. Giants were going after him from the beginning. He met with them the past few days. They were able to get a deal done. He was able to pass the physical, finish out some finishing touches of the deal, and now he is a New York Giant. So big news that happened, I believe, around 3:30. It was reported by Josina Anderson that it was a done deal. So, what are your What are your initial thoughts on the deal, and what are your thoughts on how he's going to help the Giants?
You want to go or should I? Yeah, it was just a great signing. Kenny Golladay, bring him in. This is Daniel Jones's year. He has to make that step like Josh Allen did when the Bills brought in Stephon Diggs. I think there's no reason why we should not make the playoffs or at least compete in the division, which is I think is still kind of very weak. Even though the Redskins or my bad, the football team have a great defense and the Cowboys they're getting healthy. I think the Giants have to compete in the division. If they're not, we're going to be looking for another quarterback in the future. I think in the draft we got to go out Slater, protect Jones, and fix that O line.
Yeah, and also I forgot to mention at the beginning. Sorry about this, but welcome Patrick Gary. He's our special guest for tonight's episode. We wanted to even out, get a couple of Giants fans on here. We got Lewis. He's wearing his Giant stuff, so we got two and two. But make sure he's also got his own podcast that he runs with a couple friends. So all sports talk on YouTube as well. Make sure you guys go check that out. Just wanted to get that out there. But Lewis, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, it's competitive. It's gonna be a tight race. Um, but it should be interesting and fun.
Yeah, like Pat said, it is Daniel Jones's year. No excuses. Dave Gettleman and company and Joe Judge, they were able to go recruit their guy. They got him. Now Daniel Jones has to shine. It's his third year of his rookie deal. He has to perform. There's no there's no turning back now. You got to look forward. You got the best receiver that was on the market. They got it done. Now it's time to perform and it's time to get to work. Uh, Jones was one of Galladay's main recruiters. Galladay said it was kind of like a no-brainer. I'm glad it worked out. May have taken a couple of days, but they were able to get it done. Uh, he was Galladay reportedly told Jones that he was interested in the culture we have in the building and the mindset of the team. So both sides wanted to get this done. So it was a big move, and Gettleman was able to succeed in doing that. So my next question, a lot of Giants fans have given Dave Gettleman a lot of heat, and rightfully so at times. I mean, the Giants came into the offseason with not much cap space. So they had to do a lot of reworkings of deals and stuff. Yet he was still able to lock up Leonard Williams, sign a John Ross, Kyle Rudolph, the 2-year, $14 million deal, and some other pieces. And then on top of that, get the biggest fish in Kenny Golladay. So got to give Dave Gettleman credit there. So he has gotten a lot of heat, but have you guys kind of warmed up to him now, and have your opinions changed on him now that he has gotten the job done in signing Golladay? Whoever wants to go, you can go.
You go first.
All right. So I think that I feel like that I'm not like completely warmed up to him, but like this kind of makes up for some of the stuff, but it's like, well, off-season moves, he hasn't been the best, but if you think about it with like draft, he could have easily, he, he could have screwed up. Like, he could have did something stupid in the Barkley draft and not pick him, or um in the Daniel Jones draft, he could have picked
Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins, and then it just goes down the drain, some things. But I'm not completely sold on Gettleman, but I do give him credit for what he has been doing now.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him credit as well. He fixed that Leo deal, signed him long term, bring money in, and then went out, got Kenny Golladay, got John Ross a speedster, help on the outside, I'm pretty sure, and Kyle Rudolph another reliable target in the red zone. And like you said, the Saquon draft, I think it was really Saquon or Quentin Nelson. I would have been fine with both of those picks. Obviously, Nelson, one of the best offensive linemen, and Saquon, one of the best running backs. So my side's kind of changing on him. And he also brought in Bradbury and Blake Martinez and Logan Ryan last year.
Yeah, he's done. Yeah, he's done some very good moves these past couple years. A lot of things that fans haven't liked, but he got the big fist this year. He got it done, and now the Giants, they're ready to compete in the NFC East. Last year, being the worst division in football, the winning division winner, Washington football team won the division with a whopping 7 wins. And I have a pretty good feeling that's not going to happen again this year. I don't think the division winner is going to sneak out with only 7 wins. I think this is going to be much improved division. You go with the Cowboys. They were able to re-sign Dak Prescott. He's going to come back and be healthy. They got their weapons: Zeke Elliott, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, etc. You go on and on. Their defense, they have a lot of issues there. They're going to be giving up a lot of points, but at the same time, they're going to be scoring a lot of points. The football team, they won the division last year. Their defense is really good offensively. They signed Curtis Samuel. Um, so they're ready to compete this year and improve upon what they did last year. The really only weak spot of the division will be the Eagles. They're probably not going to be that good, but the Giants, they're going to be much improved from last year, and it's going to be a really close division. So now, what do you got? Where do you guys think the Giants rank in the division? Do you guys think they can win the division, second, third? I think it's gonna be a pretty competitive division.
Um, yeah, it's gonna be a good top three teams with Giants, Cowboys, and Washington. So yeah, it's gonna be like a really close race, especially with Dak being healthy, as you said. He's If he continues what he did at the start of last season, then who knows what the Cowboys' record will be at the end of the year. So I mean, yeah, I definitely double-digit wins for maybe all of them, because no, they're they're not winning the division with only 7 wins. So this year, yeah, it'll be a close, fun race to watch and see who comes out on top.
Mm-hmm. Pat?
Yeah, like you said, Dak, he was having a great year before he got hurt. I think with that contract, you could have maybe gone for defense. Like, I think you obviously should resign Dak. I think you could have gotten him for a little bit cheaper and use some money on the defensive side. But yeah, I think you're going to need a lot of wins to win that division with the Cowboys, Giants, who's looking pretty good, and Washington with an elite defense. And then there's just like the Eagles, like you guys said. But yeah, you're going to need a lot of wins. And I know I'm looking a little ahead. I think Cowboys might be getting like either Parsons or Surtain Farley in the draft, just really depending who's available. But it's definitely going to be defense.
Mm-hmm. Lewis?
Yeah, it's gonna be a real tough division, basically. And like I said in the beginning, I said um, that it's gonna be a very tight division. Um, um, like Pat said, it's gonna be a lot of wins to, but realistically, I see basically they could win the NFC East, but realistically, at least for this upcoming season, I see them a wild card, definitely making a wild card. I feel they have a good chance.
Yeah, that's a good assessment. I
I don't
think
see us getting a wild card just because of the NFC West. Like I think they just have that whole division is one. I think it's the best
Oh,
division
yeah.
in football.
Definitely.
I think you're going to get that division winner, and you're going to have. I think is it 2 wild cards or 3 now?
I think it's three. Pretty sure it's three wild cards.
Oh, it's 3
And
now.
the
Yeah,
extra,
I think all of those teams could make the playoffs, and then maybe like an NFC North team might sneak in, or an NFC South team might also sneak in. I think the wild card is definitely going to be harder to get than the division.
that's a good point too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be a big fight in the NFCs. Obviously, they're going to be playing each other. Extra game this season too. It's gonna right. It's this year they added the 17th game, so
Yes.
Yep.
that's gonna happen. But that's gonna be after what happened last year and the division was awful. It's gonna be one of the more exciting divisions in football. Now the Giants, they just got the receiving course for. There's just some elite talent in the NFC East that's going to be
Amazing.
coming up this year, so that's going to be fun. You mentioned the draft, I believe, Pat.
Yes.
So the Giants have the 11th pick in the draft. Where do
Yes.
you guys see them picking with that pick? Do you see them trading down? Are they going to stay there? If they do stay there, who would they be interested in? What needs do they still need to fulfill, etc.?
I think Slater. I think Rashawn Slater is going to be the pick at 11. If he's taken before 11, maybe 5 to the Bengals if Peninsula isn't available. But if Slater's available, we should take him. Bulk off that O line. If Kyle Pitts is available, obviously you should take him. One of the best talents in the draft, if not the best. Not talking quarterback, obviously with Trevor Lawrence in the draft. Really just depending who's available at 11. Like if Waddle's there or Smith, maybe trade back because I feel like wide receiver right now isn't the biggest need, and we could maybe get a pass rusher. Or if we like trade back, get like a couple picks, a couple like second, third round picks in a late first round. Maybe Rashard Bateman, who's another great talent. But I really think O line should be the draft pick or defense.
That's a good point, Lewis.
Yeah. Well, as now with the signing of Kenny Golladay, our wide receivers in biggest need. But if Waddle is available, I don't want Gettleman to just be like, oh, we got our wide receivers, not given to the thought. I want to at least give it some thought before he just passes Waddle up. Like at least give it thought, like like a think good and hard because Waddle could be a good piece even though they have their number one, but he would definitely fill a good role if they had him.
Yeah, definitely Waddle. Definitely Waddle. He would be very good to have. I think my mic just did something. Myself. Yeah, I think Waddle would be a great pick, but I really think we should really bulk on that offensive line. Give Saquon some holes, Jones some more protection. Maybe even trade back, like I said earlier, because there's a lot of wide receivers in this draft class. That's good. Or maybe we go Parsons if he's available, Farley or Satine if they're available, Gregory Rousseau if he's available. But also I saw the Giants might be bringing in Odor Jackson from the Titans. If we get him, obviously don't get Sertain or Farley, but I think Parsons, Slater, Waddle if he's available, just really depending who's taken before and who's just available at the time.
Yeah, those are all great points. Yeah, I think they'll look to go upgrade the offensive line too. Daniel Jones had a tough time last year with sacks and fumbles. The offensive line kind of leaked through in, many situations. So if they'll be able to upgrade there and improve the offensive line and be able to protect Jones, then he'll be able to have more time to throw to his, receivers. Obviously, his new prize receiver and Kenny Golladay, and Saquon will have more space to run and more routes. So I think that'll be a smart way for them to upgrade. What do you think, Sal?
Yeah, I definitely think they shouldn't go a wide receiver if they stick at 11, because I mean they have Golladay right now, their top receiver. So if you say if they drafted Waddle, then that wouldn't just because Waddle wants to be and should be a number one wide receiver option, and you got Golladay as number one, so that would just not fit well. So I think they should either go for a pass rusher, a cornerback, like Pat said, yeah, or offensive lineman, or trade the pick and go and acquire more picks for it. So they have a lot of flexibility now that Golladay signed with them. So
Yeah, another good point. They got that flexibility now. If they did not get Golladay, wide receiver was going to be the slam dunk that they needed to get. But now,
Unless
all
Pitts
they
is
ha-
available. Sorry about that. But I'm
oh
saying
yeah,
unless Pitts is available, you got to take him. Sorry about that.
no, yeah, you're right. But I mean, we'll see if he's going to be available though. But if he is, that's a good point. But they're pretty stacked at that position right now. And if they're able to fulfill other needs, if there's not, the top receivers still left on the board, the draft, then I'll think they'll look to fulfill other needs and fill out the team that way. Next thing. So last year we saw Josh Allen and the Bills. They were able to get their number one receiver in Stephon Diggs. He went to Buffalo and he helped Josh Allen become a top 5-4 quarterback in football. 2019, Allen had just over 3,000 yards thrown and 20 touchdowns. A year later, with Diggs acquired, 4,500 yards thrown and 37 touchdowns. Now you look at what the Giants just did. Daniel Jones got their number one receiver and Kenny Golladay. Do you guys see a potential similarity between those situations from Jones and Allen?
100%. I think Daniel Jones, this is the year he takes a step. And he's going to be like Josh Allen with that step. I don't think he's going to have as much passing yards or touchdowns, obviously. And I don't think he's going to be a top 5 quarterback. I think he'll be mid-tier or like high mid-tier. But I think he's going to take that step. And he's just going to help the Giants out even more. And he also has that mobility like Josh Allen. So, that read option is going to come in with him and Saquon.
Lois?
Yeah. I think he's gonna take a big step, but my question is how big of that step is it gonna be? Because because Allen's like on another level of talent, and basically Jones fits in that okay, but now that Jones has a better flexibility with the players kind of surrounding him now, it could make a real impact. I think it really can.
Yeah. Like you guys said, I don't think Josh Allen just completely transformed himself. Diggs and all the moves that the Bills did to help him out have truly made him one of the best quarterbacks in football, as much as it pains me to say that. But I could see Jones, you could see him taking a huge step, and I mean, he has to. There's no excuses, as we've said already. He has to take the next step. I think he will, and he'll be the quarterback of the future for the Giants. And we'll see where that leads them, if they get a Super Bowl or whatever, if it's like an Eli Manning situation. But I believe he will take that big step that, the Giants have been looking for. He has the help. and they just, and make a couple more moves on the O-line. He'll have that protection as well. And I think he'll be able to take that big step, not to the level that we saw with Josh Allen, which was, it doesn't really happen that often that he just completely took off in just a year. So, but Jones is going to have a much improved year. What are your thoughts, Sal?
Yeah, he's gonna have he should have a better year than last year because he has all the weapons. He has Saquon back. Hopefully he can stay healthy and not get injured after like 2 games. He has Shepard, who's a pretty good player. Ingram, hopefully he can catch the ball.
Ingram's my boy. We're not gonna trash him here. Ingram's my boy.
And then you got Golladay and Slayton. That offense is fully powered right now to take the next step and maybe win the NFC East and make a far run into the playoffs. So, yeah, it's no excuses for Daniel Jones this year. Gotta perform or he's out.
Exactly right. It's the 3rd year of his rookie deal. So just make or break year. He's got to show the Giants that he's the franchise QB and show the Giants fans that he's going to be there for the long haul.
Sorry about this. If he doesn't do good and we have like a top 10 pick or something, maybe be looking at Spencer Rattler, Oklahoma. He's a good quarterback. I think he's eligible. I think the kid from UNC is also eligible, who looks pretty good. So yeah, just
potential options. Yeah, if Jones doesn't work out. Yeah, that would be unfortunate, but we'll see. He's got this year to prove. That's it. Got to get to work, and that's what's going to happen. So another thing, Kenny Golladay, 2019, he was a Pro Bowler, had over 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns. 2020, unfortunately, he dealt with a couple injuries, hamstring, hip injuries, limited only 5 games. So he only had 2 touchdowns, 338 yards, and 20 catches. Do those injuries from last year worry you any bit for this upcoming season?
Not at all. I'm not that worried about the injury bug. I think he's going to be healthy most of the games, and if we make the playoffs, I think he'll be ready for. If he gets hurt and we make the playoffs, I think he'll be ready.
Lewis?
Hopefully he doesn't get hurt. Obviously.
Yeah.
It is something to think about, but I'm kind of concerned with like the past 3 years we had some injury stuff, but I feel like with like everything, like with like them having like a better off season, I feel like that might just make them like mentally healthier, and I feel like that'll make the impact like I feel like that'll impact these like injuries, because the fact that these guys like just want to win and like they don't want to like get hurt. So I feel like
Sal?
Yeah, obviously it's a concern because if you got injured a lot the year like in 2020, then 2021 he could follow that up or stay healthy, but it's definitely a concern. And obviously you shouldn't like think like that's shouldn't be like the first thing you think about when you think of Kenny Golladay. You should think about he's amazing at what he does. So it's going to be a concern, but I think Giants will be fine.
Yeah, I think in the back of your head you think about it, but at the end of the day, the Giants gave him $72 million, $40 million guaranteed. I don't think they're really that concerned about it. He had meetings with them. They talked a lot about, he passed the physical. They talked about the injury stuff. Everything was good to go. So I think they're well prepared to give him that money. And I'm sure he's going to be just fine. The Giants have had injury problems in the past. So you do, worry that luck could come back and haunt them. But right now, I'm sure the Giants are not worried about any potential injuries. But yes, of course, that would be a big blow if they were to somehow lose him for any sort of time because you get, because of how much they're paying him. So, but we'll see. I think, it'll work out in the end. So I guess that pretty much wraps this up. But do you guys have any more final thoughts about the signing?
Oh yeah, like you said, I think he spent 24 plus hours in the Giants facility. Him and his agents were just there like overnight trying to work out a deal and stuff.
Yeah.
Very long visit.
Yes.
It was like kind of like Sal. I remember he was there.
Mhm.
He was basically there all night, left without a deal. I think he went to the interview for the Eagles, and we were like all getting like so annoyed, like, oh man, how do you let him leave the building without not signing him? But after, like, when he did his press conference, he said like when he left the building, he knew that he wanted to be with us. So I'm sure Golladay felt the same way. He wanted to be there. As I mentioned it before, that Golladay told Jones he was interested in the culture there. We're trying to do something great here. That's what all he's about. I guess he said of Jones, he's still kind of fresh in the league a little bit, and I kind of want to help to grow with him. So he's ready. He's ready to be a Giant. He's ready to help them win, obviously win a Super Bowl and be good for years to come. So great move for the Giants, and he's going to be a huge help. In Detroit, he played 47 games after being drafted in 2017, 183 catches, 3,068 yards, and 21 touchdowns. So the Giants are going to be adding a lot of offense to this year. We mentioned the names: Slayton, Shepard, John Ross, Rudolph, Engram, Barkley, and now Kenny Golladay. That's going to be a lethal offense.
Good for Golladay getting out of Detroit.
Yeah.
They're-
Too bad Allen Robinson can't get out of Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ended up signing the franchise tag.
Yeah.
After he was like liking stuff where seemed like he was pissed that he was signed to that, but he ended up signing it anyways.
I think Eddie Jackson also wants out of Chicago after Kyle Fuller.
Yeah. He tweeted something.
Yeah,
Yeah, he seems
they're
annoyed.
going with Andy Dalton as their starter. That's an interesting.
I think the Bears they got to rebuild.
Yeah,
Just
Oh yeah.
start from scratch. Trade Mack, trade Jackson,
Mack.
trade Robinson,
Yeah.
and just start from scratch.
exactly. You got any final thoughts, Lois?
Well, it should just be like a fun year for them.
Yeah. All right. So we just want to thank you guys all for listening and watching. And make sure if you did like the video, please like it and also subscribe to our channel. And also to Pat, we want to thank him for joining us for this special coverage of the breaking news of the Kenny Golladay signing. So make sure you also subscribe to his channel, All Sports Talk on YouTube, where he talks about all news regarding all sports around the league. So once again, thank you guys for listening and watching, and we hope to talk to you guys soon. Peace out.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.